Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Neha, and in today's video I'll be showing you a preview of my latest tutorial which I have just released on Patreon. This is a colored pencil tutorial of a rose ringed parakeet. It's a 6.5 hour long 100% colored pencil project with lot of techniques and tips along the way. So let's get started. I drew this bird on Bristol vellum paper of size 9 inches by 12 inches. It's a nice 100 pounds paper, so it's ideal for taking layers and layers of pencil. And it's also got some tooth or texture to it, which is necessary for gripping the pencil. In this video, I'll show you the entire process of how I've rendered the head, and then the same process can be repeated with the rest of the body of the bird. So let's first lighten the graphite sketch with a kneadable eraser so that it doesn't interfere with our lighter colors. I always like to start with the eye first. It just sets the mood for the entire drawing. Here I'm taking black polychromos pencil from Faber-Castell and start filling the iris of the eye. First start with very light hand pressure, and once you're happy with the shape, increase the pressure and fill it up nice and dark. Then I leave a little gap and give a ring with the same pencil. Now I take dark indigo again from Polychromos and go over the black pencil to give some depth to the black tones. Next I take light cobalt turquoise from Polychromos and fill up the gap in between. Then I take white Caran d'Ache luminance pencil and fill up the white of the eye, followed by ivory from Polychromos. For the shadow under the top eyelid, I take nougat from Polychromos. For the red ring around the eye, I start with deep scarlet red from Polychromos, go over the line with a very light hand pressure to establish the shape. This way, if we make any mistakes, we can erase it off. I again go over the shadow area with Payne's Grey 30% from Luminance, followed by Nougat again. Now with white luminance pencil, I color the outer area around the red ring, and then with walnut brown from Polychromos, I color the outer shadow line. Now I fill up the ring with orange glaze pencil, and then to brighten some of the highlight areas, I color with light yellow glaze. Next, I take dark cadmium orange to further deepen the orange shade, leaving some lighter gaps in between as seen in the reference picture. I again take deep scarlet red to darken the red ring, and then again walnut brown to deepen the shadows. I also take dark red to darken the reds, and then with dark indigo and black I again go over the eye details. This time I also take warm grade 2 from Polychromos to darken the white part of the eye, and then with white luminance pencil I blend the white areas. Next I take green gold for the outer part surrounding the eye, and then to deepen that color I use brown ochre. In this way, we finish the eye. Of course, I'll be coming back to it after I finish the surrounding areas on the head region. Next, we'll tackle the beak now. So first, I lighten the sketch. Then I start by giving a layer of white Prismacolor pencil. Now I do this so that it will be easy for me to lift some highlights in the end with an eraser or a ceramic knife. The white waxy pencil will prevent the darker colors from sticking to the surface of the paper, and hence the lifted highlights will be more brighter. You can even use Derwent Drawing Chinese white pencil for this. Apply this color with very light hand pressure, as this is just our first layer, but fill up the beak completely with this white pencil. Now I start with dark indigo for the darkest shadow on the bottom part of the beak. Then I follow it up with the next dark color, which is red violet. Starting with darkest tones will help achieve dark intensity of colors with less layers. Though the area looks black, I like to layer some blues and violets before I apply black pencil. In this way, even our darkest black shadows will get a good depth of color, and it will look interesting as well. Now apply the black pencil to further deepen the shadows. Next, for the dark mid-tone color, I use dark red and fill up the bottommost part of the beak. For this, you can use hatching or small circular strokes to fill up the area. When using this color, start by going over the darkest tones you have just applied, thus incorporating those layers as well. Same thing you do with deep scarlet red now. Start by applying on the dark red areas first and then continue to fill up the rest of the top part of the beak. I'll be also using a couple of more reds like pale geranium lake and light cadmium red, both from Polychromos, for the top brighter areas. I continue giving more layers to fill up the white parts of the paper, always keeping the hand pressure very light at all times. I do the same with the darker colors as well to bring in a good amount of saturation. Next, I'm using Scarlet from Luminance to further intensify the red. I like using Luminance pencils almost in the final stage as it has so much pigment and it also works very well on the Polychromos layers. Now I come in with a pencil eraser. This is from Faber-Castell and I lift off some highlights and scratch marks that I see on the beak, and then I go over it with white luminance pencil to fill up the areas. Now I take reds and work in between those lifted areas to give them some shadows. Next I take warm grey 2 to fill up the gap between the two beaks. I continue giving more layers to the beak till I'm satisfied. I'll come back to the beak after finishing the rest of the head. Now let's start with the head. I like to lighten the sketch area by area so that I don't lose my pencil drawing, especially for a complex drawing like this. Try to keep the pencil lines as light as you can, as we'll be working with very light colors. I start with a white Prismacolor pencil as I'll be removing a lot of highlights and light feathers in the end with a ceramic knife. So give a light layer first with this pencil and fill up the entire head. Next, I take light green from Polychromos and give a base with this color to the entire head area except for the areas that are greyish blue. So I'll be leaving some gaps for that. Now for the top of the head, which is receiving light, I use sky blue from Polychromos and fill up the rest of the head region, taking care to color in the direction of the feathers. Next, I take silver grey from Luminance and fill up the white parts of the paper and also go over the blue areas. This will also smoothen out the blue layers. Then I also take bluish pale from Caran d'Ache Pablo to go over the same blue areas. Now let's start working on the green feathers again. Next, I am taking leaf green from Polychromos and go over the entire green parts of the head. Try to keep your pencil point sharp at all times so that it reaches the deepest parts of the paper. This color will go all over the green areas and skip the blue parts. Next, I take Payne's Grey 30% to give some darker shadows on the blue-grey parts. And this color will also go on the transition areas between the green and the grey feathers. To further darken the blues, I take light ultramarine from Polychromos and work especially in the area just above that black ring. Try to work always in the direction of the feathers. This way, you will be achieving realism right from your first initial layers in your drawing. I again take silver grey from luminance and go over all the blue grey colors to blend them. It's a continuous process of applying and blending colors. Now, with all our lightest tones in, I'll jump to the darkest tone on this bird's head. I'm working with dark indigo and I'll start coloring the dark feathers just above the beak and also the line which is going under the eye. Here, the feathers are very tiny, so pay attention to the reference picture, and then I follow it up with black pencil so the indigo will give a good intensity to the black color. Now I'll finish the lower part of the beak. I start with dark indigo again. I also use little bit of dark red, and since I am in this area, I work little bit on the upper beak again. Then I take black and fill up the bottom part of the beak. Polychromos pencils are oil based and transparent, so you will be able to see all the layers that you have applied, something like watercolors. That's why they are my go-to pencils for all drawings. I continue with dark indigo and color the ring around the neck, paying attention to the length of the feathers. I do the same with black pencil as well and thus increase the saturation on this black ring. I take Payne's Grey 30% for the bottom part of the beak to give it a sense of roundness. Whenever you're working on a round subject, keep the outermost area light, which will make the beak look 3D. Next, I take permanent green from Polychromos and start working on the midtones. This will be our local color, meaning the main color of the parakeet, and I'll work on smaller sections now. Next, I take permanent green olive from Polychromos again and I concentrate on the shadow areas. This is a nice muted green tone which will perfectly work as mid-tone shadows in between the bright green feathers. I'll take permanent green again and I'm only working on the top section of the head now. Taking permanent green olive now to enhance the shadows. Now I take black and work on the darkest shadows that I see. Just squint your eyes and all the details will become blurry and you will only see tones. This is a great trick and I use it time to time. Next, I take dark sap green from luminance and further darken the midtones. Don't be scared of going dark as we are going to come over all these layers with more lighter colors. I'm using grass green from luminance now. At this stage, I like to come in with my luminance pencils to get more saturated colors. Next, I take yellow-green from Pablo to layer it upon these darker greens. And then with spring green from luminance, I start blending all the layers and start filling up the lighter gaps which are in between the feathers. I continue doing the same now, taking same colors again and moving further on the head region. Meanwhile, let's talk about this tutorial on Patreon. This is a 6.5 hour long tutorial in real time with voiceover explaining each step in detail. If you're new to this medium, then I have lots of other colored pencil tutorials there. It will come with a line drawing, progress pictures, reference image, and also a list of materials and the pencils used. I also give alternative pencil chart in case you have only Faber-Castell Polychromos and not any other brands. I give new tutorials every month in watercolors and colored pencils and sometimes a mix of both the mediums. I try to cover a variety of subjects to keep the interest alive. I also have a lot of techniques and tips videos, so even if you're a total beginner, these videos will be a great help. I myself am a completely self taught artist, especially with this medium, so I've learned everything the hard way, experimenting, making mistakes, sometimes wasting resources, but you don't have to walk the same path. With my help, you'll be able to learn and enjoy this art journey as well. I also have tutorials on Skillshare, so if you're already a member there, then you can watch those too. And if you don't want any membership on any of these platforms, and if you're only interested in particular tutorials such as this one, I also sell individual tutorials on gumroad.com. I'll leave the link in the description box below so you can check those out. Okay, so coming back to this tutorial, as you can see, I'm continuously giving lots and lots of layers with these pencils, working on the shadows, working on the light tones and the mid tones. The trick to realism is working in multiple layers so that we can give enough depth to make it look 3D. So with this medium, you have to have a lot of patience, but the output is so beautiful that you will forget all the hours that you have put in. I continue applying all these layers till I get a nice saturation, till I'm satisfied with all the tonal ranges, that is your light tones up to the darkest tones. And keeping your pencils sharp and your hand pressure light will ensure that you will be able to work as many layers that I'm able to. Now I'm taking ultramarine from Polychromos to further darken the blues. For the brighter blue, I'm using middle phthalo blue from Polychromos. Here I have turned my board as I want to work now on the grey blue feathers. I'm taking silver grey again and blending the layers. I give a layer of light blue with this light cobalt blue from Luminance. I continue giving more layers with all these blues. And I do the same with the green pencils as well. Since I've turned my board, I am now seeing the drawing now from a fresh perspective, and this gives me a more better understanding of tones. I do this from time to time, especially on a complex subject, and I would advise you to do the same because as an artist, we also have to find areas where we can improve for better, right? So these are the final layers now before I come in with my ceramic knife or cutter. At this stage, the drawing should look totally correct and saturated as well, like this black ring over here. Try to make your dark tones as dark as you see in your reference picture. This way, your lighter and brighter colors will just jump off your page. Always have a good contrast in your drawing or painting. Colored pencil is a very time consuming medium, especially if you're working in a very realistic style, so patience is the key. Now I take my sliced ceramic knife or blade. You can even take an X-Acto knife, and I'll start removing all the lighter parts of the feathers. Adjust the blade in your hand so that you're able to scratch away the lighter parts. Again, work in the direction of the feathers just like you were doing with your pencil. I find this tool very useful, and I would advise you to have the same with X-Acto knife. I am a little bit scared of tearing the paper, but with this knife I'm very comfortable in removing any of these highlights. After this, I take a white luminance pencil and go over all the scratched areas so that they look smooth. I also take some green pencils to cover some of the highlights, as some of the light feathers are not that bright white. I again work on the darker areas if needed, because sometimes when you use a blade, some of the shadow areas also get lightened. So adjusting all the tones now. Now here I'm working on the top of the beak using nougat and walnut brown, and also a bit of green gold, putting in all the very fine minute details. You can assess the whole head now and see if any areas need to be darkened or lightened, as this completed head now will set the mood for my entire drawing, and also the rest of the drawing becomes more easy as well, because we have figured out all the colors and the techniques to be used. So the rest of the journey becomes quite enjoyable now. For me, that's the most important part of my art journey. I again come in on the eye if needed, or the beak, and just finalize this head. Okay, so we come to the final part of this head, which is the rose colored ring. So I start with white Prismacolor pencil again, taking care not to smudge any black color. I follow it up with light flesh from Polychromos, and I color the entire area. Next is Pompeian red from Polychromos for a mid red tone. And then I'll use rose carmine from Polychromos to give that beautiful rosy pink color for which this parakeet is known for. And now with white luminance pencil, I start blending all the layers. With deep scarlet red and dark red, I give the darkest tones to this pink ring. And then with white, I blend all these layers. Next, I come in with the ceramic blade and start scratching away some light feathers. My favorite thing to do. And then layer more if required. So with this, we finish the head of the parakeet. Next, I finish the left wing of this bird. In the same way, I finish the body, the lower part of the body. I repeat the same process on the entire bird, step by step, area by area. I have divided this tutorial according to the parts of the bird, like head, left wing, right wing, etc., so that's easy to find and navigate through the tutorial. Here I'm showing you a small clip of me working on the right wing of the bird. And then I start working on the feet of the bird. Every small part is very important and should be given equal amount of attention. This tutorial also includes this very detailed branch. Normally if I've done a very detailed bird, then I don't draw very detailed branches or rock or any perch that it's sitting on, as I want the focus to be totally on the main subject, which is the bird. But for this tutorial's sake, I've worked a very detailed one. So with this, we come to the end of this video. If you liked it, then do give it a thumbs up, as that really encourages me to work even more harder and make better videos. I read and reply to each and every comment given on all my videos, and I'm so thankful for that. Your lovely comments make me smile so much. So please continue to do that. And of course, last but not the least, if you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.